Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Crowdcast and to Ironhack. My name is Raquel. I'm talking to you from Lisbon. And we have Carmen here and Medina today. They're going to present themselves and they're going to tell you a little bit more what they're going to do today. But for now, I'm just going to go and present Ironhack because I know that some of you might be new in here. And if you are, know that Ironhack is a global tech school. We have boot camps on web development, UX, UI design, data analytics, and most recently cybersecurity. Both in campus, we have campus in Europe and in America, and remote. So if you really want to know a little bit more about Ironhack and you've just joined and you know nothing about us, you have a green button here below the video that you can look for extra resources in our website or our blog posts or even further other webinars that we're going to have in the upcoming weeks. If you have any feedback, we'd love to know as well. So let us know in the chat. Also, I would really love to know where you're from. I see that we have people from Lisbon, Malaysia, London, very different. Italy also. I love to know where you're seeing us from. I'd really love to know because we're all in different time zones right now. We're all in different countries. So I'd love to know where you're from. Well, before going on to the webinar itself, I'm just going to explain a little bit of Crowdcast rules if you're the first time that you're hearing the tool. So I can see that some of you already discovered the chat. Here in the right, it's where you can leave your comments, your feedbacks, and interact with each other. Hi, Wing from Barcelona. That's great. But if you want to leave questions, and we are going to have a little bit of time in the end to answer those questions, please leave them in the Ask a Question section. It's easier for us not have the question slots, so to speak. Hi, Berlin and Argentina. Perfect. Not to have the questions lost, and for us to tackle in the end. Okay. Also, this is you can upvote the questions and the topics, and actually we shared a few links in here you can find. Carmen will explain you a little bit why they're important, but you can see here that we shared a few useful links for the webinar today and for a webinar that you had before. So you can see the links in here, and I would ask you to please upvote it so it appears on top for everyone. This is not a question, it's a topic with useful links. So please upvote them so they appear on top. Okay, perfect. I see we have people from all over the place, not only Europe. That's perfect. So this is it for the Ask a Question. One last thing is that this webinar is recorded. So if you want to review this later, and if you were not able to stay until the end or something happens, know that you can review this through this link, but we will send you a follow-up email with all the info that you need for this. Okay? Well, I don't know if I'm missing anything. I don't think so. So I'm glad to know that we're having people from all over the place, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'm going to pass the word to Carmen now. I'm guessing she's the first one to talk, right?
Right, yes. I'm very happy to be here again with you guys. I think it's the third seminar in 6-month period. And yeah, I'm very happy to have a companion today, to have Marina here that was very brave, I think, super brave. And she went to zero to hero about conversational UX design for chatbots in a very short period of time. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen today. Just let me know if you can share it, if you can see the presentation.
Yeah. Just one last note, if you're having trouble hearing or seeing anything, leave in the chat. I'll try to help and give a warning, okay?
Okay, thank you. And yeah, so the topic of today is how do you build your own chatbot? Basically what Marina volunteered for, it was for basically reviewing the previous workshops that we were having about conversational UX and taking the main takeaways from them and going into building her own prototype. And yeah, for giving background for this collaboration between Flixbus and Ironhack, basically, as many people living in Europe will know, Flixbus is a mobility company, a very young mobility company founded in Germany in 2013. And we offer sustainable and comfortable green trips by bus across Europe, the United States, and Turkey. We have a total of 350,000 daily connections in more than 2,000 destinations and over 300 no, 30 countries. 300, not right now, but in some years there will be 300 countries. And yeah, for just telling my background of what I do in Flixbus, I'm a conversational UX expert working in the robotic automation of customer communication processes with conversational AI. In plain English, working in the automation of our call center. And I am with Marina, Marina, a linguist. I was looking also through this collaboration with Ironhack to find more linguists in the industry that will be motivated, more linguists and everybody that will be motivated into joining us in the trip for conversational design. And also I have been speaking in previous seminars about the upcoming book about natural conversation that and I feel it was like a lie, because it didn't came out in October. Now it's planned for November, but it's here already in the webpage. It's true. It's coming over. It's coming soon. And basically, as a conversation analyst working in conversational artificial intelligence, what I have done is to put together all what I know from natural conversation in Spanish for now in the first edition. Spanish is my mother language and also is my field of expertise in applied linguistics. So conversational designers have a very hard starting point about knowing everything about natural language before they can go and design conversational experiences. So yeah, it's there in the webpage. It will come in November or in December, but let's hope in November. And what's the agenda for today? So basically, the first part will be providing you information about the task that Marina received, and telling you about the goals and the tools that she needed to use. And after that, the second part is the result of her research about how did she build the user and the system persona. And in the third part of the presentation, that is where all the interesting content is, we are going to go through her prototypes and to discuss about them, to see what was good, because they were very good from the very beginning, and what was what could be still improved in the next iteration. She produced 3 iterations, so we are going to review the process and see how the process of implementing the prototype happened itself. And at the end, we will make a recapitulation of everything that we discussed, and we hope to have many questions, and we will be very happy of discussing them. Okay, so what was the task that Marina received? It was having 2 objectives. First, to put into practice what we have learned from previous webinars in Ironhack. We were having 2 similar ones, one in English and one in Spanish. I think that's also is very important in conversational design, as we are working with language, that we are starting from the point of view of the language that we are working with. So if your mother language is Spanish, I think it would be very much more useful for you to check out the second talk about the future of design, que es el UX conversacional. And the second goal was to understand the process of refining the prototype of a chatbot and learning from that process, because conversational UX is a tricky field. There are certainly not a lot of best practices established about what is good conversational design and how to implement it. So now we are in a stage in the industry in which it's very important as a designer to analyze what you are doing and what is working and what is not working, in order to understand which are the best practices for conversational UX design and how to improve the quality of your prototype through different iterations and for different linguistic and interactive implementation areas. And sorry, so yeah, I was looking for a linguist, because at the end, conversation is about language. So I asked inside of Ironhack if they knew somebody that it would know about language, and preferably about any area of linguistics. And this applies for everybody with some experience in UX writing, in copywriting, in translation, or even in second language teaching. And we found Marina. So Marina can introduce herself and give more context of why she is here today.
Well, thank you so much, Carmen. Hi everyone. I'm Marina. Currently, I work for Ironhack, but I'm here as a student, let's say, right? So I'm in a different role right now. Just for you to know a little bit about my background, and also for you to understand that this was really my first time doing a chatbot. Like, I had never done anything like that before, but I had some related experience, as Carmen said. So basically, I studied film, radio, and television, like communication. I did a master's in cultural studies, so it's art, philosophy, and literature. So I had some also theoretical background in linguistics or literature. And then I had done in June, like recently, a workshop on UX writing because I was discovering the field, and I found out that I really liked it. And then, of course, during my all my life and during my working experience, I have created a lot of content like videos and writings to different projects, to websites. So yeah, I'm used to write for the website, but just in advance, like it's quite different than writing for a chatbot for sure. And my working experience is in sales, in marketing, and customer service. So I'm also used to talk to people at the end, right? And to make sure that they understand the instructions and to make sure that they have all the information. And so in a way, this background, even though it's not, I have no experience in chatbots, I think it helped me to create this chatbot.
Right, and we are gonna discuss later on how actually that happened in practice. And the task that she received was the classical one of Ironhack. We wanted to create a chatbot for a pizzeria. And if you have seen the previous talks that are there in the Ask a Question box, I was using as a starting point from my own design the menu of the Pizzeria Masaniello here in Berlin. I am based in Berlin, in Germany. But the menu is in German, so it's not accessible for everybody. So we changed to this Pizzeria Napolitana in Toronto, in Canada. That so she will have a real example of as a starting point. And also I think it was a very good example to work on because the menu is not very elaborated. They have just 4 different kind of appetizers, some dessert, and 10 different kind of pizzas. And everybody that wants to replicate what we are doing here today can actually work on the same example that is available on the internet. And we don't know these guys. We haven't been to Vienna, Napoli, Toronto in our lives. It was completely randomly choose. And the objective was first to create an adequate persona for the chatbot about on the base of the information that is displayed there in the web page and also in their social media. So she needed to come out with the personality of the chatbot, with the tone of the conversation with the customer that will come with the personality, and also how the emoticons and the wordings are supporting both things, the personality and the tone during the interaction. And she worked it only in a happy path or optimal journey for the interaction in which the chatbot needed to be able to greet the customer, identify itself as a system, offer help. After that, effectively navigating the customer through the menu. Also offering to complete the order with some drinks and additional meals, and at the end provide the cost of the whole purchase and to ask feedback from the user and to close properly the conversation. And yeah, let's see then first how she created the user persona and the system persona.
Okay, so yeah, what I did, as Carmen said, I went to the website. I checked, all the information that was in the website about the pizzeria, and I also searched their Facebook page and the kind of people they were attracting to. So I just came up with this user persona that I called Mike. I placed a situation in which he would have to order pizza. So when I had to create the interaction with the chatbot, it would be real, right? So I would have in mind a situation, an actual real life situation that in which a persona would have to order pizza. So in this case, Mike wanted to celebrate his birthday party with 4 friends at home. He's in the early 20s because I thought that the information I was gathering from the social media was pretty for young people. He loves pizza. He wanted something a bit different. So that's why he decided to go to Viva Napoli. Also because of the good recommendations that Viva Napoli had in different websites, right? So it seems the right choice, and he decides to order it through the chatbot. That's where I created the personality of the chatbot, also based on the information I gather. As you can see, they have a lot of pictures in Facebook, like of the whole family cooking together. So I thought that their main values as a brand and as a company would be family, tradition. They were close to the community. Also, they have, because it's even in the name, they say Viva Napoli, that it's in Italian. So I was thinking, okay, they want to prove and they want to show that they're authentic Italian food. Also, I could see that many interactions in Twitter, in Facebook, were about people asking about the schedule, the delivery information, like real practical information they need to have. And also I could see that the person behind the social media was someone fun. For example, there was a picture of a guy dressed as a pizza man in the middle of the street, yes, announcing the restaurant, or even there were pictures of the owner of the restaurant in his daughter's graduation. Like, here I am with my daughter. Like, of course, it's the Facebook page of a restaurant, but it's very close to the community, and they mostly use Facebook and Twitter. So that's why I came up with the idea of the chatbot that is Justino. Here you have a little drawing of how would Justino look like in my imagination. Justino represents the restaurant. The bot imitates the warmth of the owner, wants the user to feel at home, and the name Justino is after the owner, the real owner of the restaurant. I thought that he would be a bit old, so he runs the business with his son. But yeah, he knows everything about the business. He's warm and nice. And I could also see that in the social media, he was interactive with a lot of exclamations, a lot of emojis. So I don't know, it reminded me a bit of my uncle, like, that they would use a lot of emojis and things like that. I don't know. So he's very expressive, right? Also, I put some imagination, of course, but I thought, okay, he likes telling stories about his life in the restaurant, about his family. And I also thought that he was fast and goes straight to the point. I noticed this also in the interaction through Twitter and Facebook, because he was like, for example, now he was like, okay, delivery is open from 5 to 6, or, so he would give very straightforward information. So I was like, okay, he's busy, he's in a restaurant, crowded, so he's used to reply very fast. So that's why I tried to imitate in this chatbot, right?
Yeah, that was very surprising for me. I was Very nice to see, because I never imagined that she, with the limited time that she was having, would make so much research, and also to get so much into the personalization of the of the experience. So it was very nice personality also to create. So now the next challenge was how she would be putting that into practice, and here is when we get into the most interesting part of the presentation. Now we are going to see the three prototypes that we have time to produce, or she had time to produce, and what did we learn through each one of them for the different aspects of the interaction. So Marina will explain first what she was learning by doing each version of the prototype, and after I'm gonna show the prototypes from Bot Society, and basically discuss the same point, but by you having the text in front of you. So let's go with the first one.
Okay. So basically, when I started, I had this idea of how I thought the chat would be, what the situation was. So in my mind, and we will discuss this later, but it was a bit like creating a scene for a script or something like that. So I was like, okay, we'll start a conversation, right? So what I noticed is that I was using the Bot Society tool that was really intuitive. It was my first time using this tool. And I realized that the emojis weren't that easy to find. So I was hoping to use a lot of emojis and things like that, but I couldn't really find them until I talked to Carmen, and for the second version I improved that. Also, I created a very in a way one-sided interaction. So at first I was very focused on the chatbot, what I wanted the chatbot to say and or to write, right? So there were missing a lot of customer reactions. So it was very one-sided. Also, because I was used to write a lot, I was using a lot of words, a lot of text, and I wanted everything to be explained. So in a way, sometimes it felt like an email more than an actual visual tool, right? Oh, that was also because of my previous background, I guess, that I had the tendency to do that. Also, well, the interaction, right? So I just started writing right away. I didn't think of structure or anything like that. So there were some logical blocks that weren't very well organized. And also regarding the language, because you have to think on how a machine would understand that. There were some commands or some instructions I was given that a system or a machine wouldn't be able to fully understand, or could be confusing also for the person in the other side or for the chatbot. So yeah, for example, saying that confirm that your order is correct wasn't very clear. It's better to say like to give a yes or no response. So the person on the other side just have to click yes or no. And also another thing that I learned after this first version that you will see now is that having a flowchart was very, very useful. This flowchart is like a decision tree, so you can see all the path of what you have created, right? So sometimes I would get lost in my own, like, I don't know if you have ever written something, sometimes you forget what you said like 3 paragraphs before. So this was the same feeling. I was like, okay, where do I come from, where I'm going to? So I would get lost in the structure while writing. So having this flowchart as a visual tool to follow and to know what I have done and how it would look like was really useful for me. So I don't know, Carmen, if you want to show this first version, you will see that it wasn't very good. That's the truth.
It's called rapid prototyping. Sorry. Yeah, this is from the new version of Bot Society, and I will play as a video preview. So or let me just play it also better as an interactive preview. Yeah. So as you can see, it wasn't her fault. It's not intuitive enough for the designer. The emoticons are not easy to find, and she couldn't add a graphical item for the system persona. And as you see, there is a lot of text coming out, but if you are a person that is used to write, this is actually the starting point. And actually, this is the starting point for everybody. Okay, for me, maybe because I have a little bit more of an experience, I know now how to simplify the prompts and how to add only the text that is needed. But for somebody that knows about language and is having a kind of conversation in the head, it's just a natural way to start, just to produce a lot of text in the first draft, and after to substitute your options or the options or the questions, the answers that you are giving by graphical conversational components. So for me, it was nothing wrong about that. It's just how it goes normally. And so here, for example, in the recommendation of the pizza, well, if we go into this part, would you like me to show the most popular ones? She created only as an answer, sure, but normally if we are asking yes or no questions, it's just better to add them as options, that the buttons that the user can click. And at the time of giving the recommendation for the pizzas, there is a graphical item there, and after that there is the title of the item, and the description of the product has to be the most concise as possible, and also putting the information that is the most relevant for the customer first. So when you are choosing, and you don't know what to choose, ingredients take relevance, but I would also like to test through different iterations where the price is going. I wonder right now, is the price here taking first place into this explanation of the product? Maybe we need data to check these little details of our designs. And this is something very basic and very logically you can produce it, and there is in a lot of chatbots the same solution. That's given a certain recommendation, there is only one button for ordering, and if the customer doesn't do anything, then it shows the next recommendation. But conversational design is about interaction. So here is where we learn that we need, for these cases, always two buttons. I want this, or I don't want this. And so the interaction continues with other kind of pizzas. There is the Margarita, the Napoli, and finally the customer chooses the pizza Napoli, and here she introduces the personification of the chatbot. No, great choice. I always cook these ones for my son's birthday. That's we were discussing about this through different iterations as well, because what's the limit for the system persona? Like to do this kind of personalizations as she did, is actually very nice, but it's very easy that the customer at the same time will forget that it's interacting with the system and will raise its expectations. So this is a line about, it's very difficult to give advice about best practices, but in principle, although the chatbot is personificating the owner of the restaurant, is still a system, and we have to manage our language in the way that we are giving always the customer that message. You are speaking with a system. Also because, this is what typically happens in Berlin. There is the police in front of my window. The people from Berlin in the webinar, they know, yes, like, And yeah, but this is a very long discussion, and I think that nobody have the ultimate response. It's a fine line there. Some people call it uncanny valley. It shouldn't be some real, but for me the most important thing is not to give false expectations about. To make it too much natural, because the human will forget that this is speaking with a system. And so. We have here the same pattern. There is a lot of text and no buttons that will help the customer to click the amount of pizzas that he will like. And we are in here for this was she learned through this that we have two categories in this prompt. Would you like to add some salad of appetizers? This is not a proper prompt from the point of view of the system, because we should separate the two categories. Would you like to add some salads? Yes or no? Or would you like to ask to order some appetizers? Yes or no? No. If you are asking about the two categories at the same time, it breaks the logic of the boolean. And we can see that we are offering drinks and we are not having pictures about them. And the pricing and interaction, because it's not graphical, is not taking it's taking too long. And after that, she was testing with adding buttons into the different choices of the dessert. So good, they started to appear here. And after, still we need to give the information of the price. That's actually she's solved by default in the pizzas. The picture was showing the product, it was giving the price, and it was giving the ingredients. And basically you have to concentrate all of that information in one conversational component, so your interaction is not so long and tiring for the user. And I think that's I will play till the end. And the order is ready, and this is what we were having in the previous slide. The system says, please confirm that your order is correct. This is too straight command to give from a system to the human. Actually, it should be more implicit, because we don't want to lose the opportunity of the order because of a high price. So I will introduce here a more indirect way of making an implicit confirmation. And also, I think that humans can command to systems, but it's not very nice if a system command to you, please confirm that your order is correct, or I will kill you, kind of thing. It's a joke, no? But it's it breaks the pragmatic logic of that follows in the human to machine communication. And so now it was coming the payment, and I think that we can stop it here, because basically the too much of test was making the interaction too long. But it was a wonderful first draft to improve on. So let's go to version 2.
It's true, and it's true that also when I read it, after we talked, it's true that you also have the feeling that it's tiring, even though I created it. It's true. Reading it a couple of days later always helps. Yes, as a tip to everyone, because then I felt also that it was a bit tiring. So for my so after the feedback that and after the learnings that I got, I did the second version, and after this version, I learned that of course, the chatbot is a system, so it's not a person. So I was like, okay, because at first I would start saying, "Hi, I'm Justino, the owner of the restaurant." So as Carmen was mentioning before, even in that way of greeting, I was pretending that it was the actual owner. So it was too much personification. At the end, the chatbot is an assistant. And so I had to change that. And then in the interaction, also the chatbot, because I saw it as customer service, or because I'm used to talk to people, I was very asking for permission, or I didn't want it to be very aggressive, so it was always like asking. And instead of that, it should be more like, okay, just give you the options, give you the task. So at the end, it's the user, the actual person, the one who has the control on the situation, right? So yeah, I learned that as well. Also, as Carmen was saying, the description of the products were too long. I just replicated what is on the website in the menu and put it in the options that the chatbot was showing. So at the end, I didn't adapt it to this different tool. Also, what Carmen was saying as well about the ambiguity, like if we put two different categories together, those are different questions. The system is not going to be able to understand that. For example, with appetizers and drinks, I had to separate those. And and also regarding the price and how to make the payment, because for me that was okay. At the end, this chatbot also has the objective of getting you through something that you have to do that involves, making a decision and making a payment. So it should be more implicit, not so direct. And also at the end, again, because I wanted to be very customer centric, I was like, okay, do you need anything else? That it's something that, of course, I would say in a normal conversation with someone, but in this case, that's too open, too wide for a chatbot to be able to gather that information or to process and work with it, right? So this is what I did for my version 2. And I don't know, you can show it now, Carmen?
Yes, and it's going to look amazing because now it's like completely
more emojis, more visual. Yeah,
super nice. Now it's the very big breakthrough. Wait a moment, it's loading. Version 2. Okay. So now we have a picture for Justino. And yeah, ciao. Sono Justino, the chef and owner of Viva Napoli. Welcome to my restaurant. No, still we have to fix that for the next iteration. It has to recognize as a system, not as a real person. I would like to order a pizza. Would you like me to show the most popular ones? Sure. Still, like we are speaking about ideas that we got after even the last after the revision of the last prototype. So I will put here 2 buttons, yes or no, or sure or not. And here she has made already the implementation of the text. The price doesn't appear. I'm wondering what's the right place of the price. Maybe quattro formaggi, $20, and after that the description of the ingredients. And now the recommendation is interactive for the customer as well. There are 2 buttons, one of yes and one or no, of no, acceptance and rejection. But the problem here, the feedback after this prototype was that the options for the customers have to be written in the voice of the customer. So yes, order this one is wrong. It should say something like, yes, I want this one, or I take this. Because yes, what we have in front of us is the recommendation of the product. We have an acceptance option, we have a rejection option. Is coming from the system, but the user is accepting or rejecting it. So it has to reflect the voice of the customer. It has to be like a speech turn in which the customer will be saying yes or not in his own person. And yes, so now, as you see, it looks very much more tidy, and the changes are implemented through the different products. And after, as the amount of pizzas, 2, would you like some appetizers or drink to your meal? And here, yes, there are buttons, but still the question is not proper, or we have to ask separately for appetizers and after for drinks. And the customer wants to see some examples of appetizers. She's replicating the same format than the pizza, so now this is very much more visual, it's very much more pack information, more customer friendly for a text-based interaction. And yeah, certainly not all the problems are solved, but the quality has really improved. And now the customer doesn't want dessert, and it has a button to reject. And in the part of payment, she keeps the nice tone, or we think it's nice. I know we have people from Italy here today attending the webinar, no? So she was playing with no grazie, perfetto, and these Italian keywords that everybody, independently of the mother language, can understand. So to the final payment part, the chatbot reacts with perfetto. That is an element that we have not explicitly spoken about today, and many conversational designers forget about them. It's the back channels that or acknowledgement tokens that basically make clear for the user that the system has processed properly the interaction. But Marina, as it's a linguist, for her was natural to produce, because she understands that interactive part of the conversation, that the listener, although is a listener, also has to send signals to the speaker about if he's following properly or not the interaction, and that came naturally from her. So that actually is great, because many people forget them. And now the chatbot is a little bit more indirect, like, is this correct? Like, did it get it wrong? Or doesn't say confirm that this is correct. And there are buttons, and she implemented also some emoticons, because yeah, the chatbot is asking if it's correct or not. So yeah, it's all right. We have received the payments. I tell you when will be at your place. And yeah, she wanted to be customer focused, and she was adding the do you need anything else? That is very tricky. Please don't put these kind of open questions in your MVPs, because in order to be able to answer that questions, you have to have the systems very well trained, and this is a process. So avoid open question in your minimal viable product. The only thing that you can write there is how might I help you as a triggering question. And yeah, now we have even visual feedback, and so this is actually a difficult conversational block to insert in, because the customer is ready, the order is on its way, but still we want something else from the customer. So she implemented through the graphical sign of the emoticons, and the feedback is on the base of graphical elements. Everything went right, and yeah, the chatbot is very happy, and grazie mille for the good feedback, and ci vediamo a Viva Napoli.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what about version 3, Marina? Do you want me to play it, and maybe you explain how everything end up to be there?
Yeah, so basically just to let you know that in the second and third version, I was using the old version of the Bot Society tool. So that's why it was easier for me to find the emojis and everything. And just, some things that we already mentioned will appear again, but more refined, I think. This was the main idea, just to go over the details and make it better. So you will see that now he says, well, the chatbot is, I'm the chatbot of Viva Napoli, for example. you could see that, yeah, the interaction is quite similar at the beginning, but then in the ordering options, it says, I will show you the most popular ones. Yeah, someone said that it's very hungry by by seeing this. When I was creating it, I was hungry all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, but so basically you can see that now in the buttons of in which the user has to click on, it says, I want this one. And yeah, we kept the no grazie, because also it made it a bit, more warm, I would say. So yeah, then you can see that the price, as Carmen mentioned before, is at the beginning now. It says $20 takeaway, and then the ingredients, right? So yeah, I always cook this one for my son's birthday because I wanted to make it also a bit friendly. So yeah, the rest of the interaction is the same, but you can see that the appetizers and the drinks are separated now. And yeah, and the user has the option of asking if he wants or not to see the options, right? So yeah, it's the same for the beers, with the price, with the I want this one, and yeah. I don't know, Carmen, if you want to go say something.
No, I think that we can go to the final recaps, because the only thing that it let us wondering from this final prototype, it was if it was good or not to keep the line of I always cook it for my son, but yeah, on the rest was great.
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, like when we were talking about that, it was a bit of an open discussion, right? Like, should we keep that or not? For me, I decided to keep it because I thought like it imitates, like the user know it's not real, right? So he knows it's an assistant from the beginning. So in a way, it's a way of maintaining that I don't know, that situation in which you can say like, okay, this is a joke. That's no. So
yes.
So as a recap of my learnings, well, first of all, learning from zero was a great experience. So thank you, Carmen, because you were very patient with me, and as you have seen, she was always like, "No, it's normal. This is okay," So especially in the first MVP that I created. So, and when I see the last one, now I'm able to recognize those mistakes, and so it was a great experience. Also, I discovered Bot Society. That is a very, very intuitive tool. The legacy version worked best for me, and I had some issues introducing new paths, because then every time you make a change, it's like the whole system, like all you have done previously, changes. So you have to be very detailed, very careful with that. But I saw it as a game. Like, I don't know, there were some books when I was a child that I would read, that you could follow your own story, right? So depending on the decisions that you made, the story would go one way or the other. So in a way, there was a really fun part of creating this and deciding where the chatbot was going to. Also, I discovered the new language of chatbots, because, of course, I'm used to write, I'm used to take pictures, I'm used to write scripts. So I really like those languages, but the chatbot is like a mix of oral conversation, because sometimes you think aloud what you would say, or what the other, like the user or the chatbot would say. So, it has to be very natural, but it's also visual, and it's also written like words, right? So it's a very rich tool, and I don't know, it was really new for me, and it's like I felt very creative, and I felt like, oh my god, we can do so many things with chatbots, and I don't know, I'm really fascinated by them right now. Yeah, and I'm analyzing every time I use one, or I interact with one. Now I'm thinking about it. And also, well, of course, I saw some limitations when doing this, because at least my tendency was to replicate a phone call or a text message, but at the end, it needs to be adapted to the machine requirements. So at some point, I was like, okay, this is like WhatsApping, but when you're in WhatsApp, you're with another person, so they can understand irony, they can understand, multiple questions in just one sentence. So there are many things that you can't do because there is a machine behind it. So yeah, this is what I learned, and honestly, I had a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you, Carmen.
You're welcome. I'm very happy that I created a safe environment to you to start your experiences with chatbot. Yeah, so for me, I also learned a lot because I saw for the first time somebody learning from I have learned during the last years. And actually what I learned, the main thing I learned is that she was, for me, conversational UX, it is still, and it shows from the experience of Marina, that it's a journey from textuality to human system interaction. And the most important things to take into account, and the most difficult, the most typical areas that people don't pay attention in conversational design still today, and this is because most of the chatbots are still failing, is that at the end it's a text. The blocks of the conversation have to be having coherence and to be properly organized in this mixture of combination of elements that Marina described of. It has to be conversational, you have wording there, but you have also the graphical interfaces and also the conversational components of the platform that we are using, because now our prototypes were for Facebook Messenger, but if you are using another platform, you will have another conversational component. So you have to adapt continuously the interaction to the capabilities of the platform you are working with. And for me, the most important thing about the conversational interaction is to take into account that is interaction, is an exchange between the speaker and a listener, that's a human and an assistant that are changing the roles of a speaker and listener. And that exchange has to be like the one in natural conversation. It has to be sequential. It has to have a certain logic that also map the customer cognition of how a proper conversation should be constructed. And the main actions that you have there is about information offering, acceptance or rejection of such offers, and to play with the elements of indirectiveness and ambiguity when you are thinking with the system, what the system can say or not in a certain context, because it cannot be too direct, or it has to be direct, and not to put your chatbot, sorry? I was hearing an echo in the area of ambiguity. And about the wording, it has to be consistent with your system persona, and the system has to be perceived as such. It would be misleading for the user to think that is speaking with a human, because also it's better for you as a designer, because the user is gonna be more understandable. For example, about the chatbot mistakes when knows that it's a system and it's not a human. And the use of the emoticons is another question that I normally receive about what are the best practices for using them, and I think that Marina made it very well. Basically, the main rule is they have to be coherent with the persona of the system that you have created. And yes, it's a graphical wall. It's about text, about conversation, but graphical take really a very big importance with the possibilities and the limitation of the conversational components that every platform is providing. So that was everything about our experience. I will stop sharing the screen right now. And we're happy to receive.
Raquel is back.
This was amazing. Hi again. This was really intense, and really thank you for sharing your experience. It's really good to see the evolution of all the stages of evolution, so to speak. And we have here a few questions. Some people were leaving some feedbacks. I don't know if you want to take a look at them, but the first one that I would go for, even though this was discussed, Someone in the beginning was asking what was the tool that you use for building the chatbots, and you said that you used Bot Society. But someone else asked here, what was your selection process for a chatbot builder tool? So maybe you can give another examples of tools or how you went through this.
No, because I am not a graphical designer by training. I entered the industry from a previous academic background. I always thought about conversation about something that should be written in a white canvas, in a Word document. So if I have to recommend another tool, would be paper and pencil or a word processor. There were people trying to convince me 2 years ago that I should use Figma or Sketch to provide to create prototypes, but no. I need the graphical interface there with the conversational components available just to add my text and my emoticons and my options there. I don't want to create the interface of the chatbot itself. It's not my job. So yeah, the first tool I started to use after paper and pencil was Bot Society. I have sticking to Bot Society. The other platforms for conversational artificial intelligence, they don't support the designer work still. It's a very big gap on the platform. So yeah, I don't know if Marina knows other one.
No, this was my first experience, but I saw that some people in the chat, someone mentioned Bot Nation, so I don't know if we have designers.
If you have any more tools, please share in the chat.
Yes,
I'm sure everyone would be happy.
But for me, it's the same. Like, I felt it was very intuitive, it was easy to use, so yeah, it was my first experience, so that was it.
Someone here asks as well, how interactive are the Bot Society prototypes? Like, based on your experience, maybe you can give a go.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know, Carmen, if you want to explain this a bit more, or.
Yeah, I think that they have two ways of selling your prototype. One is the video preview, another one is the interactive version. Yeah, I think that they are working. I wouldn't tell them that, I wouldn't say that they are super interactive at the moment. I need more capabilities, especially for testing. I would like to do user tests with the same tool, but I think that they are working hard on that. If you have ideas, I think that you can write them.
Here, Valentina is asking a question about language. When a bot completes a task, what would you suggest as a proper reply? I've done, focus on the bot, or you are all set now, focus on the user. So the focus on the bot or the user?
Depends on the context. This is language.
So maybe if you want, Valentina, you can give a little bit more context of what you were thinking about this question. And Celio here is asking, in order to improve the experience, how does the interaction with the chatbot is measured? It's a good question.
It's a very good question. And this is what I call the only way of testing, especially or the best way of testing for artificial intelligence. You deploy and you put it into production, and there you have all the people, all the users that interact with it, and on the base of that, insights of your bot analytics or metrics, you work on the next iteration with. Of course, I wouldn't be going there before doing proper user test pass, but this is the best way. I mean, like, put it into production and exponentially expand your system on the base of that analytics.
That's good. Here, someone here, Clive, sorry if I'm misspelling, gave us here another tool, the link to it, and Typeform actually uses something to try this. So that's amazing. Here, Valentina is also asking, can you explain more about Uncanny Valley? I'm guessing this is a concept that you can explore a little bit.
Uncanny Valley. Uncanny Valley is the feeling when you get close to a robot. Well, Uncanny Valley is what I was getting always as a kid when I was receiving dolls. Like, I was always very afraid about those because they were giving the feeling that they were like babies. No, I always thought that
Weird.
like a human, but it's not alive. And I always got uncanny valley from those. And the first thing that I was doing was removing the head, and they were not giving me more Barbies or more dolls. And this is uncanny valley when a robot, when a system is so real that that seems like a human. And then the vibe, the feeling that you have about it is not very nice. Actually, it makes you a little bit scared. So making explicit that the system is a system and inserting some behaviors that give the user the idea that it's a system and not a human, avoid your customer to feel like I was giving a doll, I need to remove their heads.
That's a good way to put it, I'd say. I hope that answered, Valentina. Do you guys have any other questions? If so, you can still leave them in the ask a question. I have time for, I don't know, maybe one or two if you'd like. In here, someone made a question in now. Do you design an expected path for popular questions made to bots like I love you or who are you?
No. No.
There's no answer for this.
It's not. I love you is not in my use cases.
But this was a good one, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to add anything about what you said before we go. So far we have no questions, but we had some really good questions so far. So I hope they were all answered. If you want to leave some feedback on the chat about this, do you want to add anything regarding the experience or the questions that have been made today? Any of you? If not, it's fine.
Go ahead,
Here's some. Alicia is asking, what's the market like for future conversational designers? Is a question maybe for you, Carmen?
A very beautiful, open market that is gonna need a lot of people with expertise on human language and also the system capabilities of processing a natural conversation. A lot of opportunities.
I hope that answered, Alicia. If you're are you interested? Maybe leave in the chat if you are. Well, anyway, just wanted to remind you guys that in the beginning of this Ask a Question section, I have a few links here. So for the slides and for the previous webinar that we had on conversational UX, this was more of an experience, let's say a bit more practical, but maybe in the previous webinar, I can find a little bit more info about this, that Carmen explains a little bit more. So just to remind you that you have this in here. And I really wanted to thank you guys. Marina, you did a great job. This was a really cool experience. I hope you seem to have had a lot of fun. And Carmen, thank you again for coming to Teachers in Ironhack. And thank you guys for being here, for your feedback. A lot of people are saying these were very interesting questions. And thank you very much for being here. And I don't know if you want to add anything else. If not, maybe we'll say goodbye for today.
No, always a pleasure to be here on behalf of Flixbus, having these webinars, and let's see what comes out from this experience. Maybe more. Let's see.
Perfect. Thank you, girls, and thank you everyone for being here and for asking all these questions. I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
See you. Bye.